Welcome back, everybody, to 2B2T. All right, I've had my lunch. That was a very good soup. If you didn't watch the last episode, I was talking about what I was cooking at the same time of trying to record. Silly me. Anyways, creamy ham and potato chowder with cheese. That was very, very, very good. I am full. I'm kind of sleepy, even though I've already slept a bunch because I had a long day yesterday and I slept in and whatnot. But so we will record instead of sleep. Anyways, welcome back to 2B2T. We are here with 614 people, and we are continuing Fusion's adventures. And we are adventuring into the ocean. All this gravel. I've spent a couple hours mining out a desert on my main account, collecting sand. I've got so far, I don't know, 20 shulks of sand, which is not enough yet. I need more, so I need to desiccate another desert. And then I'm going to have to do the same thing with gravel. Outside of the fact that, well, I could get an underwater potion and give myself excuse me, 8 minutes. I'm trying to decide, would it be worth it to travel to an area that's like this, maybe somewhere around my anniversary base? Kitty, don't lick that. I don't need your saliva all over my drink. Just because it has moisture on the outside of it doesn't mean it's for you. We're going to get these two squids since they're right here, maybe. They don't escape from my clutches. Come here, you. I need your ink. Rah, give it to me. Stop swimming away from my boat. Now I'll have 10 times further to travel. Gotta collect the black ink so I can make replacement banners, since I only got the 5 left. Someone has set a bed. You know, that's something I haven't done in a long time, is set a bed. You know what? We're going to borrow this guy's bed. We're going to set a bed here on Flower Island, simply because I haven't set a bed in thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of blocks. And if something happens, like let's say this zombie here conquers me, that's my boat. Get out of my boat. You can't have my boat. I might want to be able to... I thought there might be a tunnel into you. Guess we'll have to take the old sand route. Oh, well, okay. Aw, how nice. Feel free to grief. Just a bed. Don't worry, we're not going to grief. We're going to borrow your bed. Set a spawny point. So that when we inevitably die, I'm going to get rid of you. I'm going to get rid of you. And you. Because I don't want you. You're out of here. You hear? And then we're going to go kill these 2 squids. Just because they're close to the surface. If I can get out of the boat. Come here. Give me your ink. Where's your ink? You. Rah! Rah, rah. It takes several hits because I don't have a good sword yet. I only have what I've been able to craft myself since I haven't found a sword. Which is kind of amazing that I haven't found a silk touch pick or a sword of good value in my first journey or this journey, out of all the chests and everything that I've discovered. I will admit, excuse me, on this journey, That oh my goodness. Don't worry. I'm just choking to death. This is my final video. On this journey out, I was saying, I haven't found any like locations that just had, fully enchanted gear and kits and stuff. I mean, everything I'm wearing here. All right, I tell you, that lingering cough. Woo, at least that time I'll cut some of that out because I've stopped the recording and restarted, but so it forces me to edit. I still want to cough, but my my right side diaphragm hurts from that coughing fit. Don't you hate that feeling when you can kind of feel the mucus in the back of your throat starting to run down your windpipe towards your lungs? And then, of course, you go into a coughing fit. Oh. Although, it's still there. It's not as bad as when I had COVID and I had to go into the hospital. I know I've said it before, but man, I had been coughing and I had been sick for days. And then it got to the point where I'd be laying there in bed and I'd go to cough. And I'd cough and cough and cough. And then I'd go to take a breath and nothing would happen. It's like I was in a vacuum and there was no such thing as air. I could not suck in air to my lungs for the life of me. The first time it happened, it was like, okay, well, yeah, maybe it's just really bad cough, But then it started happening more and more and more. And I got scared. And so even though it was still pandemic and there was a partial lockdown, it had lightened up a little bit. And so there were Grab, which is kind of like Uber, available and taxis available. And I popped in, I got myself a car and went to the hospital, to the emergency room, and and then they did all their tests and said, oh, well, looks like you have COVID. I'm like, oh, great. And then I spent 3 weeks in the hospital going through the same thing. I was positive I was going to go on a respirator, which was really scary because you'd heard all the stories. Looks like we found some ruins. Not sure what that says, but it's the base name, I'm assuming, and nothing vulgar. But this is 2B2T, so I apologize if that is the case. I recognize these banners. I have them. Now, if you were to ask me whose banner it is, well, I don't got a clue. I gotta break it and look. It's the Highland banner. So I'd say the Highland guys have paid a visit. Whether they're the ones that blew this place to smithereens or not is another story. But definitely someone blew it to smithereens. There's absolutely nothing left except for maybe, good thing it wasn't X-rated art. I would have had to cut the video again. But we found a map. Some map art for the Luke shop. I'm advertising for them, so they should give me free stuff. I should be able to ask for some things and they should just come deliver it. Right? I think that's only fair. So if you're watching, whoever owns the Luke shop, You now owe me free stuff because I just advertised for you. So, reach out, send me a DM, tell me what you're going to give me. All right? It's only fair. Don't know if it was like a little event base or something. There was no signs, nothing left to indicate anything. All right, another little coughing fit. My goodness. I've been feeling really good. No more fever, none of that. Maybe it's just because I'm talking a bunch. Hey, this little house over here. We'll check it out. There's signs at least, so that'll tell us something. Oh, there's chests up there too. I didn't even see those. Well, we'll have to put on our elytra and go check them out. Never know. It might be something that somebody left behind. Sometimes people do that. So we got Dupe was here. Let's see. This is Perfect Akira's house, built in 2024. Cool. Well, then we're going to add our sign. So much coughing. Give me a break. Please. All right, well, guess we didn't have to use our elytra to come up here. Ready for our drop and roll. Here soon we'll be out far enough to where I'll find some pillager outposts that I can repair my elytra unless I find a base with a farm, which could happen. Now, question is this one of those ocean areas that's just going to keep going and going and going and going? So maybe I need to cut across it. There's definitely been a lot more ocean on this trip out going this direction than there was on my first direction. Oh, more chests. I haven't looked at the 100K 2B2T map. I mean, it's an old map, but it still shows all of the land masses and everything and water bodies. So it's good to look at. Got the spider welcoming committee here protecting their chests. Well, that was a fail. Hey, we got some shards. Rather have those than spider eyes. I was thinking maybe I was going to find chests full of shards, but nope. Not at all. Onwards! I do know that, back to my thought, there are certain areas, though, 2B2T within the 100,000 block range where it's just vast stretches of ocean. Not natural ocean. It's ocean that was generated through a glitch way back in a different version that was on 2B2T in the past, where it was generating oceans, and people just, they went out tens and tens of thousands of blocks, even well past the 100K mark, and just created these big swaths of ocean. And so you'll come across them, and it doesn't mean you can't find anything. There could be a base out in the middle of that ocean that someone's put there because, you know, go, well, nobody's going to probably come check this out. They're going to go over there to those land masses and over there to those land masses, and they probably won't come across the very center of this, type of thing. The problem is I've done a bunch of snippets where I've paused this video because of my coughing and throat clearing. And now I don't know how long I've been recording. I know I'm not at 30 minutes yet, but the current recording's only at 4 minutes. So it's like, all right, well, how long was the previous one? And how long was the previous one before that? And how long was the previous one before that to tell me that I've accumulated 30 minutes? We shall never know. I guess we'll just keep on going then. Towards the icy wastes. I've been watching old Let's Play series from a number of years ago on when Elden Ring just came out on Fighting Cowboys channel. Kind of makes me want to go back and play it again. I'm not into all the PvP and stuff like that like other people are, and that's why they play, is because of all the PvP opportunities and stuff that Elden Ring as well as Shadow of the Erdtree allows and whatnot. I just love the fact that the world is so huge and so open for exploration. And that even though I did a pretty thorough job exploring when I went through those games, I could probably go back in and find stuff that I had never found before still, just by doing more exploration. So anyways, I'm tempted to go back and play. Whether I record it or not is another thing. I don't know. I mean, it's like Grounded 2 came out, which I really like Grounded. It's a great game. Exploration, crafting, PvE with the bugs, all that good stuff. Definitely a game favorite of mine. I don't know which way to go to get out of this ocean. But I don't know if I'd put it on the channel. I started putting Grounded 2 on the channel. I was only getting, 4 or 5 views per video. And then it was so buggy. It's literally, I know it has bugs in it. It just kept crashing constantly and constantly and constantly. And, I would watch other people. It's like, okay, their game's not crashing. What's wrong? And come to find out that they were all on the Play Store, or the what is it, that Microsoft Pass? I forget what it's called all of a sudden. And so, no problems. But if you purchased and downloaded through Steam, your game just crashed all the time because it was full of bugs. I think I had another video where I talked about this, but it's like, if you're going to develop a game, make sure it's not buggy on all platforms. I know it's probably been fixed by now, but it was like just such a turnoff that I didn't even get to go through the game and explore. And of course, it was in a beta launch. It was still early, and there's still a lot more that'll be added to it. So I don't mind waiting, and that's fine until more is added and opened up of the other map areas. But it was just so disappointing that just because I purchased through Steam and am playing on PC instead of through that Microsoft Game Pass or Xbox Game Pass or whatever it is, that I have to have a terrible experience in gameplay. I am not a console player. I've had consoles. I don't have any currently. And personally, I've always hated consoles. First of all, because most of the games were all tailored to fighting and PvP and PvE and excuse me, even when they had stories, they were very dictated. It's like, okay, you gotta go this direction. Now the only direction you can go is this direction. Now the only direction you can go is this direction. I mean, even when it was like when they're a partial open world, you could still only go one direction to progress the game and stuff. It was a story progression, and you just went and you got through it, and when you're done, you're done. You know, I'm just not into that type of gaming. I know a lot of people are. Nothing wrong with that. This lightning's gonna get me. There's probably Microsoft and Sony and Xbox and everybody else ready to Nintendo trying to strike me down for my blasphemous speech against consoles. Oh! Probably. Somebody put loot in the ocean. It's all disappearing before I can get to it. So if it was good gear, it's gone now. Shucks. But, I mean, I've always preferred PC because most of the games on PC are like this, like Minecraft. Extremely open to your style of gameplay. To where you can do exploration and building and all kinds of things, and they're not necessarily just limited linear games. I mean, yeah, Minecraft has a story. You build up, you get your gear, you go to the Nether, so you can get blaze rods to get Eye of Enders, so you can get to the End Fortress, so that you can go to the end, kill the dragon. That's your story. And you can do it in less than an hour. A lot of people do. And you're done with the game. Technically, you're done with the game from a story perspective, a progression perspective. But that's not what Minecraft's about, right? Minecraft allows you to take your time, build up your own world, explore, do things that are really unique. Even after you kill the dragon, you can go out and get the elytra and then use that to help your exploration and help your building and stuff. You can build all these massive farms and cool things. That's what Minecraft's about. To where it's unending in what you can do, and people have done so much. And that's not even talking about modded Minecraft, which takes it to a excuse me, a whole new level. I seem to be just following this ocean around. It's like, okay, I'll go south, see if I can get across it. All right, I'll go east and see if I can get across it. And I just keep finding more ocean. And then I see land and I go, okay, well, maybe this is finally the end of the ocean, only to find out that the ocean just continues right on the other side. A little dungeon right there. I would say there was once a little bit of a base right here. And someone came along and blew it up to where there's nothing left. Or maybe they blew it up themselves, but Yes, Kitty Poo? You want to come up here with everybody else? We got two cats on the desk. I already had to move my hand to make with the mouse to make way for one because she wanted to lay down right where I had my mouse. So now my arm's stretched out awkwardly to the side just so that I can continue playing. Yes, Mommy Jen. I'm talking about you. Sorry. I had a kitty hair decide to tickle my nose. They're probably all going, you stole our food. We want it back. Because I did some cleaning. And so I picked up all their food, the automated food machine, and cleaned all the trays and all of that. And I haven't put anything back. So they're kind of spoiled kitties. I mean, they have the auto feeder, which goes off a couple times a day and just puts out a little bit. Not enough for 8 cats for a full meal. It's more of just a kind of like, hey, here's your little snack so you don't become a pain in the butt, begging for food when you don't really need it type of thing, So they have that. And then, of course, 3 times a day they get a meal. And usually it's a combination of soft food and hard food. So they get tuna and salmon and crab and all the other stuff that you can get, chicken and whatnot, in their favorite soft food format. Spoiled little things. They eat better than I do. They're sitting there having salmon and tuna, and I'm having like a bowl of ramen that came out of a package or a cup of noodles because I spent all my money on food for them instead of buying tuna and salmon for me or steak. I bought it for them. That's all right. I love them. They're my little fur babies. And even though all 8 of them are little terrors at times, I couldn't imagine being without them. Saw a story just recently on TikTok where someone owned I don't know if it was a pet store or if it was like a cat cafe, but it burned down and all of the cats perished. Can you imagine that? I could not imagine if I lost all 8 of my cats all at the same time. It's one thing if you have a cat, grows old, and dies of old age. That's one thing. It's kind of expected. It's never a good thing. My cats are all young. The oldest one's like 6 human years. So that's fairly young still for a cat. But I've had cats, of course, die of old age before, and I've had cats die of other things too. It is no fun. I mean, when I was back in the States, I lived out in the country, literally the forest. And so there was wild animals, coyotes and bobcats and stuff like that, right? Owls and hawks and eagles. So you always worried, and I had outdoor, indoor cats. I had a cat door, so they could go in and out all they wanted, And I always worried about it, and it's like, okay. But cats are usually pretty smart too, They don't get themselves necessarily into positions of stupidity and death all the time. I mean, they can, but, they're pretty smart. But I came home one day. I forget if I came home from work or from something else, but I came home. It was in the middle of winter. And opened the door and went into the living room, and there was a head of one of my cats just sitting on the floor. And then there was a bobcat in the kitchen finishing up the rest of the cat. That was just a terrible scene to behold. Obviously chased the bobcat out of the house, closed the cat door, and then went on a hunt for my other cats. And I found them. I found them all. None of the rest were injured, but I lost the one. It was a younger cat that I lost. Sneakers was his name. My favorite cat, which was a great big old orange tabby long hair, he was called Roman. He had a big Roman nose on him. He was hiding behind the dryer in the smallest space he could get into to hide, and he was so scared. He was shaking and everything. You could just see it in his eyes that he saw absolute terror. Still makes me cry. So, yeah, it's no fun. Hopefully you've never lost a kid, a pet, dog, cat, whatever it might be. We get attached to them. They're our children. They really are. Even if you have real children, they're still your children too. Okay, we're going to go east again. We're just kind of stuck in this ocean. I found a few things, but I need to get back to land. You don't need any food. You're fine. And you guys are safe here. The only thing we have to worry about here is potential earthquake, which I don't know if there was an earthquake that was big enough to where I felt I needed to evacuate the building, because I am in a high rise. I often wonder how I'm going to get down all of the flights of stairs, because the elevators won't be working, right? And you shouldn't be in an elevator in an earthquake. Or fire, if there was a fire in the building, right? Same story. I often wonder, how am I going to get all 8 cats down all the flights of stairs and out of the building? I mean, I have a cat carrier that I could squeeze 4 cats into. It would be terrible for the cats, but I could squish them in there. And then I have like a baby stroller carrier that the top pops off as a separate carrier. I could put the other 4 cats in that. That'd be pretty heavy to carry down the stairs in an emergency. All right, we're back. Coughing fit. I think I'm just talking too much, and I'm not quite healed yet. But biggest question would be is like, could I get all of the cats into the carriers during an earthquake or during a fire? Right? But I sure would try. I would not leave them behind. And even if I was out and about and something happened, and I rushed home and they were like evacuating the building or already evacuated the building, I would fight to go back into the building to get my babies, my cats. I don't care what security or anyone else says. I would push past them and go get my kids. And that's what I would tell them. It's like, even though they're cats, I wouldn't, I would say, my kids are still inside, and I would go. That would just be it. That would be the decision. So, I don't know how I got on all that topic. Sorry. Anyways, I guess it's because we're stuck here in this endless ocean. But we did find a couple little small bases this episode, and what's left of something. So that's a positive. But anyways, I think we'll close out here and we'll move on to the next video where, when you come back, you'll get to see more ocean. Ha! How about that? That's pretty cool. I am just guessing we're stuck in one of those giant oceans and I can't figure out the direction to go to get out of it. But we'll go east for a little bit, see if we can get out of it, and then go continue our journey south, which has been our primary direction. Anyways, thank you for joining, everybody. We'll see you in the next episode. Take care.